right, and we have before us, Mr. Head, that's you.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you introduce
Yes, ma'am.
yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC number, please, sir.
Jesse Head, 303-150.
All right, Mr. Head, and you're here this morning because you submitted an application for clemency requesting the commutation of your sentence. You were sentenced October 4th, 1991 in Jefferson Parish. Attempted first-degree murder, you received a 50-year sentence. Also, aggravated rape, for which you received a life sentence, and the 50 years is running consecutive to the life sentence. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And let me acknowledge that we have a representative from the DA's office in Jefferson Parish, Mr. Randall Meyer, who will be speaking at the appropriate time. We'll ask for his input. Your case this morning, Mr. Head, is being signed to Mr. Marabella. Would you answer his questions?
Good morning, Mr. Hurd. Can you hear me? Mr. Head, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How old are you today, sir?
58.
Okay, and how long have you been in prison on these charges?
32 years, sir.
Let's talk a little bit about Jesse Head at 32 years, was it 28 year? How old would you have been at the time this happened? 26?
26, yes, sir.
Let's talk about who you were at 26 years old. How much education had you had?
At that time, sir, about seventh grade.
And you were working as a maintenance man, is that correct?
No, sir.
Okay, you said you were a maintenance man. What kind of work were you doing at the time?
Blueprint.
Where were you living? Who were you living with?
I was living with my dad, sir, in Kenham.
You talked about drugs and alcohol. When did you start using drugs?
13 years old, sir.
What did you start using?
Marijuana at 13 years old.
How often were you using marijuana at 13?
On a regular basis.
Did you progress to other things after that?
Yes, sir.
What did you progress to?
Cocaine, acid, drinking.
Now, in 1991, in March of 1991, how much were you drinking at the time? And what was your drug use like then?
I was drinking alcohol and I was doing crack cocaine
How often?
on a regular basis. So
Now, you say you were doing blueprint work. What kind of work were you doing? Who were you working for?
at that time, I wasn't working at that time right there, but I did that like for 9 years. My dad did it like for 30.
So tell me what happened on this particular day, on March the 12th of 1991. Tell me what happened and what you did.
Yes, sir. I started out in a hotel with another lady drinking Cisco at the time and doing crack cocaine all night. Then I left from there. I went to the young lady's house. Went in there. Raped
How'd you
her.
get in there?
I broke in, sir. I broke in and I broke in, I stabbed her, raped her, left out of there. I wasn't in my right mind, so
How many times?
I went back. Boys, I know, like 6, 7 times.
What did you stab her with?
A little pocket knife I had.
Now, your position is you don't remember. I mean, you said in your statement, I was so high on drugs, I don't remember anything. You're kind of now remembering things. Tell me, tell me when you.
I don't remember everything, so at the time, I really don't remember. I was doing crack cocaine and I was drinking all night long. When I left that scene there, went to the other scene, I don't remember everything, so I really don't. I'll take full responsibility for my actions. I'm remorse when it happened. Yes, sir.
Well, what were you doing in the other motel room or hotel room with the other woman? Did you have sex with her?
Yes, sir.
So why are you looking at someone else?
I was in a rage. I was in a rage, so man, I got into a fight. I was in a rage, drinking all night and on drugs.
Did you harm her? Did you stab her?
No, sir.
You went to trial,
Yes, sir.
or did you plead guilty?
I went to trial, sir.
You were found guilty?
Man, repeat that, sir.
You were found guilty of these charges and the judge sentenced you consecutively? You actually were sentenced you were convicted of aggravated burglary, but that was later thrown out, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about what you've done while you've been in prison. What are some of the programs that you have taken that you believe have been most helpful for you?
I took risk management, sir. I took risk management. I took anger management.
Risk management is a sex offender treatment program.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what you learned from that program.
I learned a lot. Don't put myself in.
Tell me some of the things you learned.
I learned the most important thing: don't put myself in high risk situations.
What is a high risk situation?
Put myself along with other women, stuff like that. So,
what have you learned about yourself in terms of your sex issues?
what I learned that drugs really overtook my life, all my life, and I came to a realization that, you know, I wound up getting saved in prison, and I started preaching, and I realized, you know, that wasn't myself at the time. I just was like I was like a monster at that time. So, and I regret that I ever did this.
And when did you come to prison?
In 91, so.
Now, I noticed that you really didn't start taking hardly any programs until around 2015. Why did you wait so long to start taking programs?
At that time, I was part of church, so I was just a member at the Church of God in Christ. I stayed there for like 20 years. And then I became a pastor the last 13 years of my life over there in Angola.
Tell me a little bit about your disciplinary record.
I got 6 write-ups in 32 years, so.
What was your last write-up? I think it was in 2018. What was that?
That was 21, so.
What was that for? Tell me what you did.
I had my hand in my pants, working at the classification. That's when I went into the program. You can see right after that, I went into anger management and risk management, and I took all the other programs.
You got convicted of rape in the early 90s. You went to prison and you got caught for some sex offense in 2018, and that's what prompted you to go into sex offender treatment?
No, I realized I needed help, so I realized I needed help.
Took you almost how many years is that to figure that out? Just because you got caught for a sex offense is why you decided, you know, maybe I need to take some sex offender treatment. You didn't think
Yes,
you needed that in all of that time leading up to that?
Yes, sir. I never had a problem with sex, so I
You
was
raped
on
the
drugs.
lady mercilessly and you stabbed her 11 times. You never had problems with sex offenses? You're blaming it on drugs, but you committed a rape. A horrible rape and attempted murder. And a judge gave you consecutive sentences. He went to his grave saying he wants to never see you get out of prison. And you didn't think you had a sex offense problem?
I had a problem, sir.
I guess I'm just trying to figure out. You're telling me this light came on when you got caught with your hand in your pants and you got a write-up that maybe I need to go take sex offender treatment. But the fact that you brutally raped a lady and stabbed her over 11 times, that didn't turn on any lights.
No, I was very remorseful, sir. I wish this would never happen.
I'm sure you do. Let's talk about your drugs and alcohol. What have you done for your drugs and alcohol?
Substance abuse. I took substance abuse.
What kind of programs have you taken for substance abuse? I see that you've taken Living in Balance 1 and 2. What else have you taken? Besides that and the pre-release, what other substance abuse programs have you taken?
Right now, I'm a mentor at Hunts, all DAPs, also life skills. Those are drug treatment programs. And I'm helping young men turn from their drug addiction from experience from me.
How often were you using drugs? I think you said pretty much every day. How long had you been using drugs up until 1991?
All that time from 13 to the age of 26. So
What is your plan to stay sober if you are released at some point?
I never touched drugs or alcohol since I've been in prison. So never.
I think that's admirable and I think that's wonderful, but you're in prison. And I know there are drugs there, don't get me wrong, but you're in a structured environment. What is your plan to stay sober when you get out?
Get with brothers for the church. That's where I've been at the last 30 years. Been in part of the church, so yes, sir. Hang with guys that's going the right way. I won't get around alcohol and drugs. I don't want them. I know it destroyed my life. I wouldn't be here today.
What can you tell us about Mr. Head?
Yeah, Mr. Maribel, like you saw, he hasn't had any write-ups since the sex offense, which is concerning. He does a lot of good here. He helps out as a mentor. He works well with those mentees. He does a good job with that. I do think he needs to take victim impact, so he can better understand and take a little more responsibility for his actions. As you see, he's kind of using drugs and alcohol and really not taking responsibility for these offenses. So, I think he's on the right track, but I don't think he's there yet.
Thank you, Warden. I appreciate your comments. That's all right.
I just have I have one question, Mr. Head. In the record, well, you say you really don't remember because you were drinking and drugging for some time, but the record indicates that the victim indicated that you showed no signs of impairment. How would you respond to that?
Repeat that question again, ma'am.
The victim has said that during the crime, during the offense, the commission of the rape, you showed no signs of impairment.
What you mean by that? I wasn't drunk?
You didn't appear to be under the, drunk or loaded or whatever.
The police report shows that when I left that hotel, I was drunk and bloody. Yes, ma'am. So I had, that's what I'm not making no excuses for my crime. I'm not making excuses, ma'am. I did the crime. No, I'll take full responsibility, but I was drunk and I was drinking all night long. And I even was fighting with the police when I went back to the scene. You could see in the police report that I was drunk and bloody. He stated in the police report that I was drunk and bloody.
Yeah, have you ever had any mental health treatment?
Mental health treatment? Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Do you have a
Yes,
mental
ma'am.
health diagnosis?
No, ma'am, I never, no.
I don't have any other questions. Mr. Meyer, could we hear from you, please?
Yes, ma'am. Randall Meyer, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish. We strongly oppose to Mr. Head's request for a commutation of sentence. As was provided in the hearing, as stated in the hearing, he stabbed the victim 11 times, brutally beat her, and raped her. The judge sentenced him after being convicted of aggravated rape and attempted first-degree murder to life plus 50 years consecutive. And the judge said, because I believe you're beyond rehabilitation and because I want my sentence to serve as a clear message to any reviewing agency and our boards, that it is my clear intent that you never be allowed to enter our society in the future. I agree with Judge Porteous's statement. The crime was horrific, horrible, and that alone should keep him in jail for the rest of his life. But let's look at what he did since he's been incarcerated. He had no programs until 2015. Offense occurred in 91. No sex offender treatment until 2019, after he received the 2018 sex offense disciplinary report. He stated he has no problem with sex. Well, that clearly he has a problem with sex. The crime that he committed clearly shows that. I think that statement alone shows that he has not been rehabilitated and should not be considered for a commutation of his sentence. Other concerns I have is he was asked, what's your plan when you get out, particularly with regard to drugs and alcohol? Well, he's going to go to church. He never once said anything about AA or NA. And attending meetings and how important that is. There's been numerous times that this board knows that I've made reference to a friend of mine who I actually saw over the weekend, and he said, my wedding 39 years ago was the first wedding he went to that he didn't drink. 39 years, he still goes to AA every week, multiple times a week. And it's something that is very, very important for people to do to stay off drugs and alcohol. So for those reasons, we are strongly opposed to his request. We hope the board denies his application today.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Mr. Head, is there a statement you'd like to make to the board before we vote?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to say that I'm really truly sorry what had happened. And I've been delivered by the Lord for drinking and alcohol. That's why I'm not doing it here. And I also, I'm not the same man as I came in. I've been changed, I've been born again. So, I just actually, I'm very remorseful what happened. And I don't have a sex problem now. I did at the time. I was tore up in drugs. But I ain't the same man as I was 30 years ago. I stated that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think we're prepared to vote, Mr. Marabella.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Head, you've done some good work in the last few years. I think you're on the right track. I don't believe that you've been real honest with us today. As Ms. Renatza pointed out, not only did the victim say you didn't be impaired, the whole trial transcript showed that you did not appear to be impaired that significantly when all of this happened. You seem to blame everything on drugs and alcohol. Refuse now, you dance around the fact that you have a sex issue. You do have a serious sex issue, apparently. And I'm glad to see that you finally decided to get into to sex offender treatment. And I think that's critically important for you to understand. I don't think you're there yet. I don't think you understand what effect this had on the victim in this case. Although the victim was unable to locate, her friends and family told us basically what all she went through as a result of the horror. I think you need more work. I think you need to really get into your substance abuse. I mean, it's a good thing that you found the Lord, and I think it's a good thing that you work within the church, but that alone is not going to keep you sober. You need to take some long-term substance treatment, and you need to really come to grips with yourself and what you did and why you did it, so it doesn't happen again. I'll encourage you to continue to move forward, but for today's purposes, I'm just not ready to vote to give you any relief. My vote today is to deny.
Mr. Freeman.
I agree with Mr. Marabella, due to the seriousness of the offense and district attorney's opposition, I vote.
Mrs. Jackson.
Mr. Head, my vote is the same, really, all requirement. I guess it concerned me that the only thing you got out of sex offender treatment is how not to be around women. No insight at all into how this really traumatized this woman's life forever. Think you need some more work to do, so my vote today is to deny.
Mr. Head, I do agree. I think you got a lot more work to do. My vote today also is to deny. So today, sir, your application for clemency has been denied. Board and Board along, I think that concludes our business at your facility. We're going to sign off at 10:10. Thanks for accommodating us today.
All right, thank y'all.